So yeah, notes, arguments, shouting, punching me in the face, anything, please, by all means, shout at me.
Well, I don't generally shout unless I'm actually angry, and that is super rare, as Greg can attest.
It's
Yeah.
too hard to shout. Not worth it. But
If I was to say your waifu was shit, would that be? No, never mind.
What the fuck did you?
I will fucking fight you, mate.
Rips off my shirt, throws it on the ground.
I'll rip off your
Tattoo on my chest says no.
Waifu for laifu on your chest.
No. It says no, but it's a speech bubble coming out of an anime emoticon.
Oh god. Oh god. You awful people. But yeah, so if there's if there's anything mechanically you really didn't like, by all means tell me. I thrive off criticism. I have no ego.
So let's see. So I purposely went out of my way to try and choose. While I was choosing between Swarm or Vessel, was to choose one that seemed mechanically dissonant from the rest of them.
Oh yeah. Well, this is the thing. The Swarm, the last time it was played, was the biggest, angriest, blunt instrument imaginable. I think it racked up a body count of like 50 people.
Yeah. I did observe that when looking at it. I was trying to think of a way that it wouldn't be.
Oh no, trust me, that's the nerfed version. I will probably have to nerf it harder.
Like if you're a thing that eats things, what do you role play besides being the chaotic neutral guy?
Yeah, but we're not talking about Swarm right now because that was all theory crafting at the time.
Yeah.
So let's see. First thing I suppose is I really like the concept of Vessel, and I like the things that can be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I feel there should be at least some way to, I don't know, manipulate objects outside yourself, even if not full move, I suppose.
Oh, well,
because part of it is balancing in between your owner and everything else. And I do understand manipulating your owner, but most owners are going to have some, I don't know.
Well, I was going to say, influence is pretty much that. When you use your weird ghostly mojo to manipulate the world around you, you roll plus spirited.
Oh, I didn't even see that one.
Ah, no, that is on the moves.
Well, okay, then that one's my fault for that.
Yeah, I probably should have brought that up as something.
No, that's fine. That one's me not reading that. I will say, though, one that I noticed with some of the failures, at least distinct, is that spread of stats is a bit different than I've seen in, like, Apocalypse World, for example.
I know, that's something I need to come back to, definitely.
I definitely know that if you look at it, like, for Apocalypse World, for example, that every sample character will have a +2 in at least some stat.
Sure.
And I feel that having the kind of high positive, negative thing, which are some options on some of the characters, but that really helps to kind of make what you want to feel, because feeling like you're really good at this is a really big part of Apocalypse World to me. Like, trying to balance out the you're going to mostly succeed at this thing, but you're probably going to be kind of terrible at this thing. And occasionally you'll be forced into doing that thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In the particular case of the Vessel, since it's the one I have experience with, I will say, since you have the stats regulated by size, I went for the one appropriate by size and just kind of, I don't know, occasionally felt like, oh man, I just wish I was rolling better at these particular things I want to do. I would suggest as an option, if you want to leave them semi-close to where they are, one that I know Monster Hearts at least does, and I think Dungeon World does as well, is, though I'm not sure if Dungeon World did, but anyway, gives you just an extra point to throw in there after you're done with the initial character stats.
Okay.
So you just assign it to one you want. So you could patch up something you're bad at, or you could just be like, no, but I'm actually really good at this.
I think with Dungeon World, you basically have a pool of stats, and then you just assign which one you'd like to whichever stat.
That's probably true. I definitely know Monster Hearts does have the just throw that stat onto there.
I think so, yeah.
And I really like that. From experience I've had with it, it really helps that even just a single point can help define this is what my character likes to do. This is why they're them rather than just A1 in that archetype.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see. So one that I'm like, that was an initial concern that is still feeling a bit though, is the dissonance between archetypes, I suppose, is still there. Because while I had plenty of fun with this, and it was well done what it was basically two concurrent games next to each other.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was worried about trying to get the party together, and that's the problem with this kind of whole
Yeah,
scenario.
I was making an effort, to be like, I'm gonna go find some help to get me with this trapper thing. Yeah, it's actively pursued by the group, basically.
Yeah.
Which I also, when I first read your description, I was like, so it's kind of like Frey versus Jason, because I assumed we'd all be in the same area, we'd all be killing people, and be like, hey, those are my people, give me those people.
No, I know what you mean. Well, the thing was, I just tried to make a scenario where there would be the potential for just complete and total murder hobo if you wanted to. Like, you killed off several NPCs that had extra stuff to them if you, like, Brother Tom could see and actually understand a lot of what the supernatural mojo was that was going around town, but you killed him, so meh.
Yeah, that's fair. But I don't know, most games have at least somewhere to them that actively encourages direct player contact a lot.
Yeah, that's what I needed to kind of focus on.
We didn't really do bonds at all.
We didn't do that, and that was the thing we're talking about. However, assigning them to each other would kind of be just straight across the board.
Yeah,
weird.
That's the thing. I need to go back and kind of retool that because it needs to be like an optional, at least one grudge, at least one pact, and then after the first session or during the first session tends to be the best way to do it. What I'm kicking around is the idea of when you establish a pact or a grudge mid-session, you take +1 on whether or not that's an assist or an interfere. So if someone's like, yeah, this guy's my kind of guy, and you help them out, and that's kind of how you ferment that bond, you take +1 on it. But then you've cemented that pact.
Okay. I'm not I did want to, at some point, see how that system worked out, because I've never seen one of these done with a separate ally and enemy type one. Which I'm not saying is inherently bad. I don't know. I haven't been in action, so I'm not going to critique that yet.
Well, this is the thing. I only wanted it to be a single session, so I thought establishing one of those, and then if you immediately stop PvPing and it's only 2 people, that's just turning this into direct PvP.
Completely get that. I'm just saying that I'm curious about how well that'll work, like hesitant, but not saying it's bad.
Oh, no, of course.
But I won't critique it either way beyond that, because I just don't know.
It still needs sounding out.
But yeah, so I definitely think those would aid it. Trying to think. Like, I know some of the others inherently have players rely on each other for survival. One of the things that I guess was why I was concerned about the distant styles is is that personalities will inherently clash because of what archetypes you chose. But that the thing that is the problem when not like writing something directly is that when personalities clash, generally people don't force them to clash. They generally kind of like, okay, well, you do your thing and I'll do mine.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So I'm not 100% certain how to patch that up at the moment. I will say definitely having it not just be creep just for killing people, that you actually have to do something. I think that's a very good idea.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ, the last time that happened, it was like when the swarm killed about 30 people in one move, I just went, look, you've got creep. You've got all of it. Just stop.
Yes. Yeah, there was but also I was thinking about the fact when I was first when I first was reading through the game, I was like, what's to keep this from just constantly being murder porn?
Yes, basically. Well,
go in the middle of town. Yeah. Fight everything not magical. We win.
Well, that was good, actually. The fact that when everything changed over, it went from I crack this guy open and receive creep to you're putting a lot more investment and thought into the scene to get a more spectacular or horrible outcome. So I was really happy that you guys went for that. But yeah, awesome.
It's what I would generally go for anyway. It's like when I was seeing the swarm, I'm like, how do I play this without just stabbing people?
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, the swarm is definitely going to be a difficult one to settle down as more than just a blunt instrument. Because I mean, even the Ripper.
Yeah, Oh, you go.
Oh no, I was going to say because I mean, even the Ripper, the both times it's been played, like Paul was less of a blunt instrument than the last Ripper, which was Martin Clunes the werewolf. Like, actually Martin Clune's the actor, which is kind of disturbing. It's like, Doc Martin, no. But yeah, he actually took the time to, like, separate people, murder them discreetly. The problem was he just killed them way too quickly, but I still wanted to reward him for putting some more inventiveness into it.
Yeah.
Because although it's murder-based, it's got room to try different things. Whereas the Swarm is just, I hit it. I hit it really hard.
So one that definitely didn't come up in game, but I was thinking about in off times that I suppose I should mention also, is that like most Powered by the Apocalypse games, you have in the rules the ability to pick up moves from other classes as advances, and I think that's great. I love picking up moves from other playbooks. However, I did see that a lot of the playbooks are very insular on what their moves do and kind of rely on what's already established inside of it.
I know, that's something I'm kind of been concerned about myself is, well, you can't really take anything from the Skinjacker, basically, because none of them apply to any other playbook.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the concerns. I was like,
this is the problem, really. I mean, because
which that one's a longer effort thing, so I'm not expecting an answer of how to fix that.
That makes sense. But it's just because with a lot of the playbooks, I came up with a certain idea, and it's like, right, I want to give people like one tool that they can use in a huge myriad of ways, rather than giving you plus this, plus that, plus this, and plus that, and then one thing that actually impacts the quality of the move. But no, I totally get that as well. Is when I'm looking at like, well, how would a Ripper use this move? He wouldn't. Shit. Okay, now what do I do? So
I will say, actually, the Ripper is one of the good ones to look at of just, you can take it stuff.
Oh yeah, you can take all that stuff.
Yes.
In particular, I really appreciate the signature weapon one of just someone else has a signature weapon too. How about?
Yep, basically.
Maybe mark moves as what are like public, basically, of what could feasibly fit for anybody.
No, that's a good point, actually.
I mean, that might be a good idea to do in addition, just as like a helpful thing. But thinking about ways to either, I don't know, clean things up a bit may help out.
Oh no, of course, this is still rough as hell around the edges and in the middle and everywhere else as well.
Let's see.
What did you think of the signature moves, by the way? Because
I'm quite a fan of seeing a lot of the signature moves. I mean, we don't get to try them yet, so I don't know how they are in action.
Yeah, this is the thing. The last group, I allowed them to have a signature move just so they could do it, and I realised that some of them were so broken they could just be just constantly spammed, and I went, shit. So I don't know. Maybe for like the last acts, I will let you guys just pick a signature move and give it a crack, but. Yeah,
I will say the one that was most interesting to me in my head, because I was recalling something, because I am a nerd across multiple fields and play Magic the Gathering. One of the ones under the Swarm is one of its signature ones is being able to skinjack people with the Swarm.
Yes.
Or not skinjack, but puppet a corpse. And there is a card in there that's called Puppeteer Click that's just a bunch of fairies lifting up a corpse and piloting around. And I was like, oh man.
That could be you. That could be you. A bunch of fairies just puppeting corpses.
Yeah, no,
around
that
the forest.
that was literally though. Like when I was considering Swarm, I'm just gonna be a ton of fairies if I go.
Hey, kid, let me in. I'm a fairy. You believe in fairies, right? And then dead. But no, neat, cool.
So let me think about a few more things. Greg, you have anything to say?
Yeah, a bit. As a slasher, it took me a bit to get into not just the character itself, but what I was particularly doing as a slasher. I went in going like, I'm really good at killing. That's what my guy does. And then when you're like, okay, you didn't just kill a helpless man, roll stability basically. I was like, okay, I'm supposed to kill everything. I want to kill everything.
It's like you would basically with a Ripper, you would have to like remain composed or feel nothing if you're trying not to kill someone. If you're kind of like, right, this guy's bleeding everywhere, or this guy's really annoying, or this guy's threatening you, but you really shouldn't kill him, you have to roll basically to just keep a grip. Otherwise, you would just have to either leave or kill him. So
okay, that could use
I would never use it to force the player's hand into actually killing an NPC, but you'd basically be given with that it's fight or flight.
Yeah, you'd be feeling it. So yeah. That's probably Bert would be a very good tool on him justifying that of just being like, oh, Bert's hungry. He didn't pollute or anything, but
I love a sentient chainsaw. That just
that
cheers
was
me up so much. I was going to say as well, I had this whole scenario in mind before you made a goddamn supernatural lumberjack, so that just gelled with so much.
with the nature and technology thing going on, and the circle of life, and the lumber yard.
No, precisely, yeah. So, yeah.
So
Any
I'll
other
ask you
idea
a
kind of
question.
first?
Oh,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
you still have more things, Greg.
Yeah, I had like
Did you have
two
more things?
solid thoughts.
You go.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep
Go,
going.
go, go, go.
My original idea was a John Henry character, possibly John Henry. It had like a kind of killer sledgehammer effect.
Oh, I was thinking just like the man with the iron fists, just two huge steel fists he punches people into the ground with. But yeah, either which way would work.
Yeah, that was most of my main thoughts. I guess that's not sledgehammer. I was like, oh, that's pretty tempting. Like, oh, and I started seeing more tags I liked. And I was like, put these together.
Nice. All right, fair enough.
So I have a question of
Sure.
just outside of this scenario, like not counting the scenario, just as a thing for the entire game as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
What is the general goal of a character for you?
General goal of the character is equilibrium. Basically, just trying to find a point where they either are at the position where they could do this without any constraints. They basically become strong enough or independent enough that that's them, or they've come to terms with whatever kind of backstory they have or whatever kind of drive they have. Effectively, this would be stuff I would have to bring up in terms of a long-term campaign, because it could be that there is Crisis X, and when Crisis X is resolved, campaign is done. But in terms of a per-character thing, it's very much along the lines of going into their history, going into what motivates them, and identifying the key points that I can then start playing with and going, oh, well, you've overcome this thing. It's very mechanical in terms of the Revenant, because that's basically what drives them.
Yeah, of course.
You identify like why they're doing it, what their thresholds are, and as they come to terms with everything, eventually you just can't be the Revenant anymore because you have moved on. But there's a kind of a similar system I had in mind for regular characters, but that would just be more loose GM based.
Okay, I would definitely suggest getting that up because one of the other like kind of hanging over my head things is what is the goal of playing this game other than just murder?
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it might just
And
be
like
because
while it's fun to do creative murder and be a slasher, it's kind of I don't know low substance.
it does maybe the stage the game is in right now, but it did feel short term basically.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I would see a hard time playing Big Paul for 4+ sessions without like some major goal to run towards.
Oh no, of course. I mean, that's the whole idea. Is I would want to have longer term goals if I had multiple sessions to run. But if I'm only doing one shots, I kind of have to hamstring a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally
Yeah,
get
and
that.
that's perfectly fine. That's I just wanted to ask what the goals were because I couldn't identify them from the book.
Oh no, that's fair enough. That's probably something I do need to put in and just kind of go over as a whole section. But yeah, that would generally be the idea of just having the actual plot, having the actual base plot lines that the characters are kind of trying to resolve themselves, and then just trying to identify endpoints for characters as you're playing the sessions and going, well, this is probably where you're going to find your tipping point, and then kind of lead events up until that point. So, it's really hard to describe.
Yeah, I think I may have missed a part of I don't think I did, but I may have missed a part of the sheet because I do things like that. But maybe I know some of them had it, like the Revenant, who's like, you want to do this. Maybe for like the slasher, like, why do you do this? Why are you killing everything? Is it just what you're good at? Do you have some vengeance thing? Are you just big and dumb and violent?
No, that's a good point, actually. Well, I mean, that's kind of some of the starting questions I wanted to do as well. But if I took too long doing that, Jesus Christ, I think you guys would kill me. But yeah,
we love just super masturbatory.
No, we love being shit.
If we sat around all night making our characters, we'd be cool with it.
I play Microscope for fun.
Jesus Christ. Sorry. That's totally cool.
I've only heard of it.
It's just a world-building game.
But it is... Yeah, well, I think we did, Quiet Year to establish the world for our Apocalypse World campaign, and that ended interestingly. But yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Again, it is kind of all on the GM side to go, right, we now need to define X, Y, and Z, and we can start building up the characters, fleshing them out, getting them talking to each other. But yeah, again, it is the whole genre thing of you are playing a bunch of isolated, very much independent characters, and I've got to.
Yeah, that was
It's
definitely my
it's
worry when I was
herding
first reading
cats.
over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that. Like my biggest two worries when I was first reading it over, like at base, was how do you arrange characters together in a way that is really driving them together in an interesting way, and then how does this not just be murder porn?
There's a certain amount of murder porn, but it's not
Well,
murder
okay.
porn centric.
See, that's definitely, I'm hearing that more now, but before having any encounter with it when I was first reading it in the first place.
Oh yeah, yeah. As first blush goes, yeah, it is still very much on the lines of you kill people and you're a terrible person for it. But there is ideally more to it than that.
Yeah, of course.
Basically, I want people to have the capacity to be horrible, make horrible characters who do horrible things, and slowly make them feel bad about it, rather than just keep on rewarding them. So like.
Oh, I'm not gonna feel bad about it.
Well, I know, but things like the creep thing, where you're not just like cracking open an NPC to get the good stuff. You have to like describe what horrible things you're doing to someone in order to actually get the reward. And I don't know. I just feel like
Which I definitely appreciate that, because
for-
I honestly find that be the interesting part of horror. So there you go.
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, I was discussing this on the Bath Fourth Apocalyptica forums, and yeah, the one time we did it, it was just you kill something, you get creep. It was terrible. This just was a world ahead of that. So yeah, you guys were awesome for doing that.
That was what I was picking up when you were saying this will make you be the worst person you can be. Apparently, I'm very apathetically, but I'm like dead inside bad to people.
Well, I mean,
Like, I don't care about you, so I'm going to kill you. And Max, you're emotionally crushing someone very slowly over time.
and then they
Yeah,
got
that's sort of true. That's kind of like what I always want.
Yeah.
I mean, I took the easy out when it came up. I was like, oh, well, if emotions don't work, then yeah, sure, I can
You're
go
like,
for this.
no, trust me. I have this knife against your back the entire time. I'm not going to push it in there. Like, yeah, I mean, you're going to fall into it this time, so why not? Like,
Basically.
Oh god.
I'm already here. Why waste the knife?
Yeah. Why don't I get my knife all dirty? Ugh.
Let's see. Did I have any other thoughts? I guess I'll have to postulate.
Oh no.
Yeah, I definitely have most of my feedback late. Like, I come up with things the next day or two. I'm like, wait a minute.
I frequently do. I'm just trying to get anything out that is fresh and steaming.
Oh. I never thought I'd feel more uncomfortable after the game than during, but no, it's happened. Thank you for that. I'll tell you what, I mean, if you want to percolate it over and then come back to me later, that's totally cool as well.
Oh, I'm definitely going to do that. I'm just thinking if I do have any last moment things. Just glancing over a few stuff. Seeing if anything.
I do think you worked well with the threatening sandbox thing going on.
Yeah, again, this is something I always want to avoid, is kind of going, no, you must now do this. I just like to kind of go and close that area off, and then close this one off, and just slowly close the group.
It is really interesting in that I definitely feel this game could, like the scenario, I mean, moreover, could function in particular in Monsters and the Childish Things notably well.
Yeah, I am.
Your
I am.
class in particular.
I was going to say I am binging through Miss Frida's at the moment, so Jesus Christ, fuck's sake. So I've been trying not to let that colour what I'm doing, but yeah.
Wow, listen to better ones. By that I mean ones I'm in that come up later. I'm not in Miss Frida's. I came into the podcast way later.
Aww.
Listen to your stuff. I keep getting like I realizing I don't put a lot of quotes of it up. But it's because I'm just like genuinely fascinated in the worlds you're making. I'm just like, name culture, yes, thank you, awesome. Like,
appreciate it.
I can't make a funny quote about it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's always like my pain, right? Is that I'm so unquotable because I'm not funny in the moment. I just come up with actually interesting.
Inside chatter, when you sass everybody, I quote you a lot. But like...
Yeah, I guess I don't have anything more at the moment. I'll definitely have to think over it though.
No, neat. No, that's absolutely fine. I mean, Jesus Christ, we've got 3.5 hours worth of stuff for me to go over and take notes on, so...
I will definitely 100% tell you, though, that I did enjoy the game and I have played much worse.
Yay! I was not the worst thing to happen to you today. Well, in terms of gaming. Well,
I don't
in
know,
terms
man.
of overall.
In
God
terms of the day. I mean, technically my day just started, so no matter what it is, you are.
God damn it, I shot myself in the foot with a gun so large it took the leg off.
I mean, I'm at 2 a.m. at the moment. So.
Oh, man. Oh. Well, on that note, with me just having completely destroyed my self-confidence by my own hand, no less. God damn it. I think I'll cut the call here if that's all right,
Okay,
guys.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Have a good night, guys. Well, have a good day.
too.
Or whatever you're doing.
Totally.
Bye.
No, I need to go fucking sleep.
Yeah, that'd be a good move.